Hello YouTube. Today we're going to be talking about my bike hauler. It is a 2016 Mercedes Sprinter. It's a 144-inch wheelbase. It is the crew version. In this video we're going to discuss some of the functional updates I have made. This is just a bike hauler. I do not sleep in this vehicle. There is a potential plan to change the bench, which I will show in a moment, to something that is sold in Europe and Canada. It may not be available in the US. I may have to import it myself, but we'll talk about that later. Right now this vehicle is just used to haul bicycles, to haul tools, and I want it to be fairly stealthy. I do not want it to stand out so that people try to break into it. So the exterior is going to be left pretty much as you see it, and that's why I have nicknamed my van Jane, as in plain Jane. I have done some minor modifications to this vehicle. It came with this bench seat installed, so that makes it super suitable to travel with my family. Looking into the back of the vehicle, you see that I have installed some shelves on the side, and additionally the panel that is above the shelves I installed, and also the netting and the panel that is on the right side of the vehicle that is also aftermarket. I installed that. It's something I fabricated myself. The entire vehicle roof and all the walls are insulated. I did purchase a insulation kit from a vendor online. I will go and grab a sample of what the product looks like. Here's the insulation. It is basically a pink foam which is backed with aluminum sheeting, which is then backed with an adhesive material. All you do is you peel off the material and then you stick it. This particular piece is made for the wheel well, which I do not intend on using. That's why I just have it sitting in the shop. I would say you can tell that in this area you can see that the insulation is installed in the vehicle. It is super easy to install, and if you're purchasing a Sprinter, that is the absolute first thing I would do, is insulate the roof and the walls and the back doors and everything that you can get to, and the bulkhead in the front, the upper bulkhead. The reduction in noise is astronomical, and it makes the vehicle a lot easier to drive down the road. I had a Sprinter previous to this one, and I wish I would have done that mod to that also. The other mod that I have done, the vehicle came with the trailer hitch electrics pre-installed, but I went ahead and installed I believe it's a 5,000 pound hitch. It is super easy to install, and in a moment you will see, in this video, you will see why I installed it, in addition to towing. So I'm going to go ahead and install my rack in a moment so you guys can see that. It is intentionally not a permanent mounted rack because I want to be able to move it into another vehicle or into potentially my next Sprinter. The rack is made using all the parts that are readily available for a Thule T2 Classic rack. The bottom crossbars are 4 of the extension of the add-on spines. You could easily also just buy 2x2 aluminum stock and just modify the edges of that so that the Thule system would work well with it. That's probably the cheaper way of doing it, which is how I'd do it if I did it again. I do have it tied to the anchor points, which are the stock anchor points in this vehicle, with just some tie downs. That way it can be removed if I wish to use the van for another purpose, like moving furniture or whatever. And I'm going to tune the position of the rack using 2 bikes on either extreme side. I run 780 or 800 millimeter wide bars. So that is why the rack needs to be centered. And I will do that in a moment with 2 bikes and then show a quick pic. Here's the rack fully centered with 3 bikes. Those are 2 enduro bikes and 1 dirt jump bike. Everything clears just fine. And now let's go ahead and remove the bikes and we'll talk about the features that I've added to the wall and how I populate them. One of the things that I really enjoy having with me on the road is this repair stand, which attaches to my 2-inch receiver. And the aluminum square tube down there has a 11-degree bend, which then allows the bike stand to be level, so attached to the back of the vehicle anyways. Alright, here we can see how I've started to populate the van. In the back door we've got socks, then we've got shoes, some suntan lotion, you see my pump, and the nice thing is to tie stuff to the interior with bungee cords so that it doesn't go flying. I do have some paper towels, which are super handy. Inside of the top shelf are a bunch of armor, like knee protection, elbow protection, and some shin guards, and my neck brace for the days I'm riding. It's a nice little area to keep your helmets. We're gonna go ahead and put some shorts and stuff in there to take up some of the space. The rack is all centered now. I have a toolbox that lives on the floor there that does not seem to move around. Over the last year, I've never had an issue with it. I do carry one chair, most of the time 2 chairs that just tie right there. Convenient to get to from the side door. And you see there are a bunch of open hooks right there. We will populate that with jerseys in a moment. And on the wall, I have the first compartment. I have some brake parts. That also inside of this shelf right here, there are also my night riding lights and a bunch of service parts like a spare derailleur, brake disc, some tubes, some extra tires. They're all in there. And then we have gloves, glasses, headbands. And that's pretty much a ready-to-go ride. When I'm traveling, I do have an ARB cooler, or a powered fridge freezer as they call it, with me. It is super convenient. You can, when you're done eating at a restaurant on the road, it really is a pain to have to give back the leftovers because you have nowhere to put them, where they make, a perfect road snack the next day. You can fit a full-size pizza box in these, and they are expensive, but this one has been absolutely no problem, and I've had it for about 8 months at this point. I highly recommend this ARB product. Maybe we do a review of that in the future too. It is bulky. I typically have it on the bench in the very behind the driver and have it tied to the bench with a seat belt. I am looking for a more intelligent spot to put it, but that's the best I can do for now. So the Sprinter is now packed up, ready to go. You see on the shelf there are some shorts, some liners. On the wall we have some jerseys, some rain jackets, and some bibs. And if you look under the far right seat of the bench is my laundry basket. I highly recommend having a spot for just about everything to go. That way it's easier to find, and something like laundry, get it out of the way, have a single spot for it, so that when you get home after a little bit of traveling, you can simply take the laundry basket inside, dump it out, and go on. You don't have to search for things. I hope some of the information in this video has been useful so far. Another thing that needs to be discussed is cost of this vehicle. This vehicle here, the way it is spec'd, is about $45,000, and the other thing is the maintenance of the vehicle. Maintenance intervals are 20,000 miles, and I buy my maintenance in packages of 4, so I buy 80,000 miles worth of maintenance at one time, and I pay $2,500 for that, directly through Mercedes, and then the service can then be done at any Mercedes dealership. For warranty claims, the vehicle has 70,000 miles on it now, and the only warranty issue I have had is that a bearing inside the rear axle became noisy. And I brought it in to Mercedes. They agreed with me on that, and were able within a couple of days get a new replacement axle and install that, and the problem has gone away, was completely resolved at no charge. And that was at 50,000 miles. So if you find anything useful in my videos, please go ahead and subscribe. I will put a button up here for you to subscribe, and there should be a link somewhere down here in the middle for you to see my next video. All right, stay safe. Thank you.